subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
And speaking of worlders, they're still doing roundups around the country. They're still running up in spots. They up in Chicago. They done ran down on some folks out here. So they're gathering folks up. Now people are complaining. They're saying that ICE, the deporters, are now targeting some of the Native American tribes. Oh, they're like, oh, some of the Navajos out here on the West Coast, like in Arizona, places like that. Some of the Navajos are complaining that some of their people done got gappled up and questioned and detained. I don't think they've been deported, but I think some of the people they've been running up on them, trying to get some paperwork on them, seeing what's up. So they're calling foul. They're like, they're saying stuff like, "Oh, do we as natives have to have our freedom papers?" And they didn't. There were no freedom papers with Native Americans. That was us. But again, they make these comparisons to our history. Here's the thing with that. So they basically are doing a form of stop and frisk with the natives. And what's ironic is that 65% of Native Americans in this country voted for Trump. Y'all know that? That's very ironic. Even with the Hispanics, there was a lot of Hispanics. Well, they're crying now, but a lot of Hispanics voted for Trump, and they knew what he was going to do. So this is weird. While they're acting all surprised and shocked, he said he was going to start deporting people. These Hispanics went and voted for him anyway. And there was one Hispanic man who was a Trump supporter. He was on the news. He's crying because his wife got deported, and he was a Trump supporter. And then they came and got his lady and sent her back home. So a lot of these people have social schizophrenia because they think that voting right wing is going to get them closer to whiteness, and then they get their wake up call. They think all of the policies are going to start crumbling down on us. And then when it turns around and bites them in the ass, then they want to act surprised. This is why they keep trying to drag us in it. Just like this Somali guy. Remember a couple of days ago, I had a Somali guy who was a Trump supporter, but he was trying to convince us to support Democrat policies. He was like, hey man, why don't y'all support Cory Bush and Ilhan Omar? I'm like, what'd you vote? Oh, I voted for Trump. What the hell are you trying to get us to? Why are you trying to get us to support Democrat policies? Well, those are your sisters. Those are your black sisters. No, what he wanted was us to vote against our interests that would help him while he is voting to get closer to whiteness. See, people want to play that game. But with some of these Native American tribes, you got to understand this. A lot of them, there's a reason why a lot of these quote unquote Native American tribes, some of these people have Spanish last names. So that's what a lot of these people from these Native American tribes are complaining about. They're complaining about some of their relatives who are immigrants getting gaffled up. And that's a real interesting thing. If you notice, a lot of these red natives, especially out here on the West Coast, a lot of them, damn near all of them, have immigrants in their family. Understand that? A lot of them have immigrants in their families. But you know what else is interesting? How many foundational Black Americans got immigrants in our family? Y'all think about it. My FBA's out there. Think about this. How many immigrant cousins do you have? How many immigrant aunts or uncles do you have? Think about that. Most of you do not. Most foundational Black, I mean, now there's some. There's some. There's a few. Somebody who done married into somebody, they're half and half. But most foundational Black Americans, and we've been here forever, we don't have immigrants in the family for the most part. But damn near all these Native Americans do. Many of them are mixed in with Hispanic. You understand? That's a very interesting thing. You got to understand why. Because, see, a lot of the Native Americans, they had them blood quantum assimilation policies where they were deliberately trying to whiten them up. You dig? And that that tribal citizenship, once the white supremacists finesse themselves into those tribes, because a lot of those tribes have been finessed. You got a bunch of $5 Indians in there who ain't really Indian. Back when they had the Dawes Rose, they paid $5 to get in those tribes, so that diluted them. Um, and they would send some of the Native American, the red ones, the red natives, to these schools to whiten them up. They would make them not use their language. They would give them anglicized names. So they really went out of their way to whiten them up so that the white supremacists can step in cosplaying as them and get paid off of that legacy. That's why you have all of these old Justin Timberlake looking ass Native Americans who ain't really Native Americans now. And they're mixed in with all of these damn immigrants. You understand? Whereas us, it ain't like that with us. With foundational Black Americans, there's a few reasons for that. Really because of the oppressive system of white supremacy, man, we were oppressed differently. We were locked into like a rigid racial caste system where it was illegal for us to intermarry. You understand? Then they had that one drop rule where you had any small percentage of blackness that would limit any other claim you could make to another ethnicity. You see, all these other groups, they can claim different ethnicities all over the place. Over here, that one drop, you black, which is cool. We're black. So that solidified our racial system and our culture. And also because of segregation, foundational Black Americans, we were economically and socially isolated. You see, so we were forced to have self-sufficient communities because we were disconnected to some of those other immigrant groups, and many of those immigrant groups from Asia, Europe, Latin America, they were allowed to really get hazed and integrate into whiteness to a certain degree. To a certain degree, you see. And then every now and then, the white supremacists will kind of let them get a little close, and then something happens, then they got to smack them back down a little bit. So there's always, especially with the Latino community, there's always this push pull, where they are giving them a little access to whiteness, then they got to smack them back down a little bit more because the culture, it's a very racially diverse, even though they're Hispanic, but there's a lot of African bloodlines there. It's very racially diverse, but that bloodline is very deep with a lot of the Latins, because all of those Latin countries in the Western Hemisphere, all of them were slave colonies. You got to understand that they try to do all of that metalarasa, whiten up the race, but they got them black abuelas sitting up there. That's why y'all go visit some of these countries. You see the black abuela sitting on the porch rolling a goddamn burrito. You know what I'm saying? And they don't talk about her. But you see them when you go to these countries. You see. And also with us, with foundational Black Americans, other Black immigrants, they started coming in mass really after the 1960s. But by then we were already solidified. And we were not a dying population where other groups, they needed to boost their numbers. We didn't. We weren't a dying population. We've been um, insulated and growing, and we've had a long-standing, deeply rooted, self-sustained culture and population here. So, to be honest, there was really no need for us to integrate with people. See, a lot of folks would integrate for some type of social mobility. You see, you try to that's why a lot of these folks come over here and try to integrate into whiteness as much as they can so they can get certain benefits from it. We don't do that because really, because of the one drop rule, yeah, even if we get with somebody white, have a mulatto kid, that kid is still black in the system of white supremacy. That kid is not going to get any white privileges. You understand? You're going to get the Meghan Markle treatment. Now, Meghan Markle is an almost white woman. She's still black, and she gets the black damn treatment. She went over there to Europe and they let her know, ma'am, if you don't get your black ass on somewhere, you dig? They let her know. So yeah, there are no privileges. There's no mulatto privileges, and we know that. So That makes us more deeply rooted within Black culture. Now, in some of these places down in South America and Latin America, they got these caste systems based on skin tone. So you have um, an Afro Latino who's a little bit lighter, they can get certain privileges and benefits within that culture. Like in Brazil, there's a major racial caste system down there. All the dark skinned people are in the favelas up there in the hills. You don't never see them on TV down there. It's a real deep thing. Let me get some more calls in here. Let's get Magus in the building, and let's get Jeff. I was trying to get you on last night, Jeff. Something kept happening to your joint. Magus, you ready? All right, let's get Jeff.
Hey, wait. I mean, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Magus.
Uh, yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't know if you noticed, but you know how they like try to do like a copycat thing with whatever type of grassroots movement or whatever thing we do,
They do a who?
right?
Who? They do a what?
It was something that I don't know if you saw it, but they're trying to do something silly now called Foundational Latin Americans.
Yeah, I heard about that. I saw it. It's something they were doing on Clubhouse the other day. Where else did you see it?
That's where I saw it, and they were they were acting like they were just so unaware of their own people's behavior that they couldn't figure out why I wasn't like falling for the Black and Brown coalition. I'm like, because your people don't really have the same. Like they're not really trustworthy on it. It's gonna be one sided, and they need to just hold their own nuts. They're not really our problem.
Mm, mm. Yeah. I hate when people play dumb. They know what it is. And listen, there's a reason why we have delineated. There's a reason why they know why. Family, for the longest, some of these other non-FBA groups, behind closed doors, they've been saying all types of little janky, slick ass stuff. All the while, we've been extending our hand to help them. We've been the one helping them. We've been the one over there going to Africa, going to some of these other nations, bigging them up. While we're doing that, they're sitting up here behind closed doors. When we go up there to America, stay away from the Akatas. Only get money and go home. They're thugs and drug dealers. Jamaicans, they do the same thing. A lot of them, come on now, a lot of these groups were doing that. Then what we saw on social media, because a lot of people start waking up when we saw what was happening on social media, especially apps where people can really get together and talk in groups. Now, for a long time, I've been kind of warning people. I've been on these people's bumper, the tether class, because they've been doing little stuff to undermine our projects. When we started doing the Hidden Colors series, which is the one of the best-selling Black history documentary series ever, you notice who wouldn't promote it? Many of these so-called urban blogs. We would never get any promotion from these people, even though these films were number one. But World Star, Shade Room, Bossip, The Root, all of these people would not promote it. And here's another thing. If they did mention it, it was a negative thing. They were like, that's Hotep shit. They were insulting it. So we were like, why would you insult something positive and black? Why would you do that? That don't make no sense. This is a positive thing. It's being taught in schools all around the world, and children here are really gravitating towards it. And then, you know what? We said, hey, who's running these blogs? Then we started asking questions. Who's running Shade Room? Nigerians. Who's running Gossip? Nigerians. Who's running Madame Noir, who wrote a bunch of negative stuff about the films? Me. Nigerians. Who's running Media Takeout? A Ugandan. Who's running World Star? A Haitian. You see? Then we start looking at a pattern here, like, oh, okay. These folks got these blogs, they show the negative side of Black society, but anything positive, they won't even touch it. That was a red flag. And then we started to see how they would denigrate our history. So we started asking questions about these people. And I've been calling them out because of their non FBA background for damn near over a decade. And then we started to see apps like Clubhouse pop up, and we really heard them folks get in these rooms and talk that greasy shit about us. People started to hear how they really felt about us. And that really woke a lot of people up because they got comfortable because they were anonymous, so they can talk to a whole bunch of people at the same time. And you would hear these narratives, and we're like, oh, okay. So that's what it is. And y'all remember in these early Twitter spaces, y'all know how it was. We had to cut people up in here. We had to make people get some act right. The early days of Twitter spaces, it was insane. They were in here talking crazy, and we had to do some straightening. They didn't stop that now. Yeah, they don't talk crazy like that. Y'all have to remember the early Twitter space days and the clubhouse, they were in this bitch talking crazy about us. Talking about we crack heads and we eat Popeye's chicken. I mean, these were East Africans saying all this stuff. So we had to light them up and make them get some act right. And here we are. Now they want to cry foul that we done got some straightening. See, they didn't expect us to punch down. That's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, look, I'm a poor downtrodden nigger. They're not going to pay attention to me. Yeah, we will. We can reach down and swat some flies now. We can reach down and swat flies. Let's get Jeff in here. Jeff, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Tariq, man? I support you. I listened to your whole show last night, man. I think you need to go for that press corps stuff for real. I think you would do very well. You're very well spoken. You're polite. You're kind. You're a good man. And you was just talking about supremacists. I had a question for you, and I don't know if you know this, and you know what I mean. I wanted to ask the Black community: did you all know that they consider me their enemy, and that I am to be killed for being a Christian?
Who thinks you're an enemy?
Supremacists, racist, the white supremacists and shit, the ones you see marching around and shit.
And
I
and
have,
and
I
you
had a bad experience last night. I had a group of them because I was talking about Dr. King. You know, that's one of my idols. Like, I love that man. That's one of the, I'm one of them people, judge me by my character, not the color of my skin, And in the military, me, my black, white, and brown friends, we all joked around all the time. In the middle of war, we would, launch aircraft off of aircraft carriers, and we would say, let freedom ring, baby. It's just the way we were. We're a family. And, yeah, man, I had people telling me that, following, being a Christian and trusting in Christ and stuff, that I'm their enemy. And that, I don't know, there's some weird shit going on in the world. And I just wanted to ask your opinion about that. And like, if the Black community actually knew that if a white guy is a Christian, he is the enemy to them.
to probably some, but a lot of them, what's interesting, a lot of these white supremacist groups, they profess to be Christians, like the KKK. Technically, they list themselves as a Christian organization. So when they burn a cross, they're saying they're illuminating the cross, even though they're hardcore white supremacists. They build themselves as Christians. So maybe you just ran across some atheist white supremacists or whatever, but there's different forms of white supremacy. Thank you for the call, by the way, Jeff. Let me get Caesar in here. Well, let's get Caesar. Caesar the Ebo. What's going on, Caesar? Hop on, Caesar. What's up, Caesar? Well, Caesar bounce. Okay. All right, while we're waiting on that person to pop on in, let's get what is it, Mr. Tickles? All right, let's get Mr. Tickles in here. Mr. Tickles in the building. What's happening? Unmute your microphone. Waiting on Mr. Tickles to unmute his microphone. We're in here deep. right now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mr. Tickles ain't saying nothing. And King Kaz is raising his hand. Let me let King Kaz up. Kaz, are you gonna do some gossiping? Because I don't really want no chatty patty stuff in here. What's up, King Kaz?
What's going on, Tariq Nasheed, man? You to put your video up with me on there, man. Today,
Oh,
the FBA is on my head, brother.
oh, you do a little, yeah, you do a
Can you
little
hear me?
chatty pattying. You do a lot of chatty pattying. So yeah, what's going?
Look, Tariq, I don't rock with you for years, brother. I've told you I've supported your show. I went to go see 1804 and everything. You know what I'm saying? I actually made a couple of good friends within the chat space too, that brothers from the Soul Line community that support FBA and all that. So it's been a mixture. You know what I'm saying? Look, I only want to see black people win. Black Americans, I want to see us win,
Yeah,
man.
but you kind of a chatty patty, brother. Yeah, that's what it is.
Mhm.
Well, what's on your
So
mind, man?
okay, so I wanted to pose this thing right here question. I don't know if you ever heard of Pascal Beverly Randolph.
Yeah,
Because we talk about, like, we talk about the new age movement and everything, and a lot of FBAs and all that. We getting into hoodoo and everything now, so we studying hoodoo, High John and Conquer and all
mhm,
that. But have you ever done? I know you're doing the
yeah,
new Hidden Colors thing,
uh-huh.
right? Would you Are you able to speak about Pascal Beverly Randolph and how he jump started the New Age movement and killed him for it, and also how he like influenced Abraham Lincoln as far as like dealing with freeing the slaves?
Yeah, yeah. I will talk about him because yeah, he was. They list him as an occultist and he was a spiritualist. So yeah, he was a deep dude. He was a deep brother. So yeah, we're definitely going to touch on him and a lot of other root workers and conjurers and hoodoo practitioners because that was a very common thing in our culture. Let's get Trelux. Trelux, hop in.
How you doing, Tariq?
Lux, how are you?
I'm good. My mom's from Mississippi. My dad's from Tennessee. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I currently live in North Carolina.
Ooh,
And I have a question for you, sir.
go ahead.
All right. So the question I have is the word ethnogenesis. I'm scared that might bite us in the butt in the future
How so?
because let's say it's like year 2075, and the tethers are like my father's 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 father is from here now. This is a new ethnogenesis. What would we do about that?
Eh, But the thing is, they still immigrated here. They still come from immigrants. See, that's the thing. Um, Whatever they say, if they immigrated here, however long ago, if you came to an already established country, you still come from an immigrant background. See, with us being foundational Black Americans, that's locked in stone. No other group can say that they built the United States from scratch. When you say you're a foundational Black American, that's what that means. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So yeah,
Thank you.
there's sir. Let's be very clear about that. FBA family, you are unique. You are unique. That's why people have a problem with us um, acknowledging our uniqueness to this land and to this country. You understand? That's why people have a problem with that. We are very unique to this damn land, ladies and gentlemen. I really want y'all to get that in your heads, family.
In the heart of nature, we find our true strength, a connection to our roots, to the land, to each other. Introducing Rootwork deodorant, infused with the potent power of High John the Conqueror root. Embrace the natural strength and resilience passed down through generations. Feel the purity of natural ingredients, harmonizing with your body and spirit. Rootwork deodorant, bringing you in tune with nature and with yourself. Rootwork deodorant. Connect, empower, thrive. Available now at rootworkstyle.com.